My name is Alois Hopf. I'm a neuroscientist by training, Chief Science Officer and co-founder of Bottneuro. MeaMind is our product for non-invasive, personalized non-invasive brain modulation for the treatment of neurological diseases, mostly for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease nowadays is one of the major healthcare challenges globally. There are up to 50 million patients suffering right now from the disease, and there are up to 11,000 new patients diagnosed with Alzheimer's every single day in Europe and the US combined. So in Alzheimer's disease, what we have actually an accumulation of neurotoxic protein, which then leads to neuronal degeneration, neuronal death, disruption of brain oscillations, which then leads to a decline in cognitive function, in functional capabilities of the patients, and finally at the end to the death of the patient. Till now, there is no treatment, there is no satisfying treatment available for Alzheimer's disease, which shows the importance, especially with an aging society we're living in, and predicted there's going to be an even greater healthcare challenge in the near future. So in recent years, there are a couple of non-invasive neuromodulation technologies emerging, which have shown promising results in restoring neural oscillations, in restoring functional capacities, in restoring cognitive functions in Alzheimer's patients, and finally also to slow down the disease progression. So one study I want to highlight is from 2 years ago, where they have shown that repeated application of transcranial electrical stimulation in Alzheimer's patients over several weeks and months actually leads to an improvement in the memory index score, so it leads to an improvement in memory function, and this is also prolonged after the end of the study. Another example, just recently a US startup doing auditory and visual stimulation in Alzheimer's patients published their very promising results in improving functional capabilities in Alzheimer's patients. So what we are doing, we have developed over the last year our custom-made MeaMind neurostimulator for multi-target electrical stimulation of brain regions. And what we do here is we apply transcranial electrical currents to very specifically enhance neural activity, to entrain neural oscillation and restore, therefore, the healthy brain activity. And where we start, for each patient, we do start on an MRI scan with an MRI scan of the patient. And based on the MRI, we can derive the 3D anatomy. So this is why this cap fits me perfectly, and I can ensure that if I wear it again tomorrow or in a week or in a month, the electrode position are positioned exactly at the right location. It's very easy to set up. I don't need a physician who helps me to set it up. I can have it at home. I can treat myself. I do not need to go to the hospital to get my Alzheimer's treatment. And importantly, going for the personalization, also the electrode locations are personalized to ensure that we have optimal stimulation, an optimal stimulation in the targeted region. If you look here at patient 2 and patient 3, they both receive a kind of off-the-shelf stimulation or off-the-shelf electrode montage. They both received the exact same current applied, the exact same location. They just got the same treatment. But at the end, the electric field, what you see in the color among those patients, looks completely different. And the electric field in the target is the actual therapeutic dosage. So this difference mainly occurs to difference in anatomy. Some patients have maybe a thicker skull. They have differences in white matter, gray matter, CSF composition, and electrical conductivity. So because of that, it's absolutely essential that we have this personalization to know what we are doing in the brain, to know and to predict the treatment outcome and reduce the variability. As I said, nowadays there are some emerging technology coming. On one hand, we have more the medical device side, for example, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is showing very promising results in treating Alzheimer's disease in phase 2 trials, or also at least in the US, approved anti-amyloid treatments. Very criticized for effectiveness, but at least there is something. But both of these technology, we can debate how effective those are, but both of them I see have critical limitation, and they do require in-clinic assessments, they need in-clinic treatment. And just considering there are 11,000 new patients every single day in Europe and the US, this is just not applicable for a broad population. Every healthcare system will come to its limit with those treatments. This is why, from the very beginning on, we focused on designing, developing a device which can be used at home, which is suitable for home treatment, and which is not a burden or a huge burden for the healthcare system. Yeah. Just very short, I mean, we have now current different approaches for going to market, and one approach where we can actually already go now, at least in Switzerland and Europe, to go to market, as our device was recently registered as custom-made device in Europe, which exists, which allows physicians, even without a CE or FDA clearance, to prescribe the device and for us to generate first real-world data, getting feedback from patients in clinical settings outside of clinical trial. So over the next years, till 27, 28, when we actually expect to get FDA clearance as effective treatment, we expect that we can treat up to around 3,000 patients, which is also a scope amount of devices we as startup can handle ourselves. We can push, we can manufacture, and we can distribute. Afterwards, we will have, for global commercialization and broad market penetration, we have to partner up with the big companies. So this is what I meant. This is currently with the custom-made registration. We focus, as this is only exists in Europe or Switzerland, UK, and the European Union. We target now in Switzerland mainly private clinics, small specialized clinics, mental health clinics, and private clinics to get first feedback. So currently we are expanding, looking for collaborators, distributors, mainly in the UK and the European Union, and also sales people who are actually bringing it to the patient. And then last, I have the United States in 27. This is the more, these are an old slide deck. Yeah, okay. On 27, going to the US market as FDA cleared de novo clearance of a therapy. So currently for this approach, we are running, or we just run our first in-human clinical trial in Switzerland in a handful of healthy subjects. Just finished the trial last week, or the interventional phase last week, and are now preparing our next trial, the proof of concept, showing first efficacy of our treatment, of our therapy in actual Alzheimer's patients in Switzerland. So over the last year, we have incorporated Bottneuro as a spin-off from the University of Basel, where me and my co-founder both worked at. Over the years, we have received millions of non-dilutive funding to push, to analyze and investigate the mechanism of action. In 21, we have incorporated, and since then we have raised approximately $7 million for mainly the technical development of the device, getting all the technical documentation, cytotox, QMS system to actually bring it to market as custom-made device, and also to run our first in-human safety and feasibility trial right now. Now we are at a stage of pre-Series A. We are raising Series A to continue to push the market launch in Europe and to run our next clinical trial. So, as I already mentioned, Becky Musmani, the co-founder of Bottneuro with me, we are currently a team of 7 FTEs, various backgrounds, science, tech, business, and we are backed up by, I would say, a very strong board. We have the former CEO of Medtronic Switzerland, former CEO of Novartis Switzerland in our board, helping us in business development, having a huge network, having the experience in know-how to scale and in bringing medical devices to application. Also, our scientific advisory board, having Harvard professor Emiliano Santanecci and Christophe Michel, 2 KOLs in the field of transcranial alternating current stimulation in Alzheimer's disease. So this is what I mentioned. We are currently raising $10 million to go for the market launch to bring our device to clinical application in Europe, to extend our sales team and distributors, and very importantly, to push forward clinical development, to go for a proof of concept trial, and as a preparation for our pivotal stage trial, which comes next in the US to get FDA clearance by end of 2027, 2028. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss. Yes, thanks.